Well, hello, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this Thursday. Had to put the glasses on early because stayed up a little late last night.
Ooh.
Normally not that late, but had to watch the finish of the Bama-Illinois game on FS1 last night. Whoa.
Whew.
Good game, I'll say that. But man,
8 o'clock start times ain't what they used to be.
kidding.
If I was staying up late to catch the finish of the to see whether Auburn would be able to pull it out against Jackson State, and thankfully they did by 46. So
I didn't even know they
I'm
were
just
playing
kidding.
last night.
I didn't
missed
stay
that.
awake. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
all about the okay, all right, yeah. Auburn Jackson State doesn't.
was the game on TV? Could I have seen it? Was it any driveway time that I missed?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, and absolutely not. Yes, it was on TV. Yes, you could have seen it. No, there was no need to go out and check the finish. Auburn beats Jackson State 112-66.
Oh, wow.
They played in the United Center last night. Both of these games were 8 o'clock start times.
Mhm.
Number 11 Alabama. Statement game yesterday. They beat number 8 Illinois, not too far away from Champaign-Urbana, by 4.
They did.
That will get some attention. You know how much they lost from last year's team. And there were some question marks and all that. LeBaron Filan was great. I think he had 24 in that one.
Particularly down the stretch, toward the end.
Which is when you need to be great. You know, when greatness is required. He was great last night. So this Alabama team showed that they can run the ball. I'm sorry, wrong sport. This
we
Alabama
ain't got to that yet.
This Alabama team has showed that they may have a little bit more upside than people thought they might have this year.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here on this. Now, it was a big win. I get it. Coming off that loss to Purdue last week, Nate Oates was not very happy about his team's lack of rebounding, particularly offensively, and they improved there. A couple of things. Yeah, I love to hear comments that my wife makes.
I do too.
Oh, wow. They're actually playing where the Bulls play? This is what I thought. It didn't come out of my mouth. Well, let's see. There's the logo at midcourt. And, yeah, honey. Yeah, that's where they're playing. Yeah.
So you said that
in
to
my
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went, well, let's see. There's the logo at midcourt. But, honey, great observation. Yeah, they are playing it where the Bulls play tonight in Chicago. Yeah. Well, is the Illinois in Chicago? Well, no, it's in Champaign. You know,
there is a campus of the University of Illinois in Chicago.
And then she noticed, as I did too, I don't recognize a lot of these players on Alabama's team. I said, honey, I don't either. Just get used to it. There's a lot of new faces every year.
As Earth, Wind, and Fire said, that's the way of the world. There's a lot of new ones, and a lot of them really stepped up. Again, LeBaron Filan was really good. A guy named Caton Bristow. Never heard of him, to be honest. He's a sophomore, 6'10". I thought he played well. There's some promise there. Now,
here's
John,
what I noticed,
it is not getting ahead of yourself by saying, this team may have a little bit more of an upside than I thought, or there's some promise there. John's like, whoa, hey, promise, upside, high ceiling, hang on. Ain't nobody calling for them to win the national championship by 30 or anything. But admit it, people. You didn't know anything at all about this Alabama basketball team, and what you're starting to find out looks pretty promising.
Yeah, that last night was the most I've watched of this team so far. Listen to them play St. John's on the radio. Man. But haven't been able to really see them till last night for 2 halves. They're going to live and die by the 3. That's pretty apparent. They shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
Heck, Illinois shot a lot of threes last night. But they're going to live and die by the 3. they don't seem overly big. I saw the end of the UConn Arizona game, and I'm thinking, man, look at all these big guys. These teams are big. There's another difference about those teams too. I might get into that later.
There's
Illinois had some of that same characteristic. Kind of big too. Illinois kind of had thick guys. Illinois only had 2 players that really stood out to me. The other ones I just didn't think were that great. Not to take anything away from the win. Don't take that the wrong way, folks. But Alabama just looks smaller than the other 3 teams that I saw last night. That doesn't matter. I guess they're going to make up with it with speed and quickness and shooting threes. But I don't know. I just thought to myself, do you need a little bit more thickness? What did Freeze say? Length and girth.
Length and girth. You need more length and girth
on this team because they don't look as big as other teams. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
This is what you'll see. This is the ratio. Last night's ratio is about what you can expect from Alabama. They took 36 three-point shots, made 13 of them. 36 three-point shots in the game, and they took 30 two-point shots.
Okay.
That's about the ratio. I mean, more triples than 2-pointers. That's going to happen a lot. And, in my mind, 6 more 3-pointers. That's a lot more 3-pointers than 2-point. That's going to be about the ratio. It'll be fun. I mean, it's fun to watch. Up and down the court. They play all 94 feet. They'll turn down a layup to kick it back out for a 3. It's thrills and spills. In my mind, it's not real basketball, but it's just a 3-point shooting contest, and they camp 4 out around the arc. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people in there left to rebound.
Yeah, well, it is entertaining.
The challenge.
I will say that, and I just think back, and I enjoy watching it compared to Alabama basketball, where they dribbled it slowly down the floor as the shot clock was ticking, and nobody kind of really knew what they were going to do, and they're kind of running around, and then they jack one up with about 2 seconds left on the shot clock. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You had a dribbling exhibition for like 25 seconds, and then you decided what you were going to do. This team, they already know what they're going to do when they get the rebound heading the other way. And, to me, underneath, pick and roll, all that kind of stuff. I'll take a little of that, but man, jack those things up.
Oh, give me some Leon Douglas, man. Give me some Reggie Mule King. Give me Bobby Lee Hurt. Mix it up down there.
How about Hoops 21? Throw him in there.
No. He was I'm talking about guys who will bang around in there. That was my deal. That was my deal. I get it. I don't look like the toughest guy in the world, but man, mix it up down there. I had the elbow pads. But nobody wears knee pads anymore in college basketball.
No.
And that's a shame. But this is the differentiation here. Somewhere in there is the contrast. John will sit there and watch virtually all, as much as John watches of anything at any one stretch, of Alabama versus Illinois men's basketball.
Yeah.
He will not watch a second of Alabama Eastern Illinois in college football on Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Alabama Eastern Illinois in football, in John's consciousness, is worlds away from Alabama versus regular Illinois in basketball. You know why? Name on the jersey. Brand. Yeah. All that stuff. I'm sure John can't probably name more than, say, 2 people who ever played football at the University of Illinois, or anybody that played basketball. But still, it's the University of the state as opposed to a regional part of the state that John wasn't sure of until the schedule came out, that there even was a university that represents that region.
Obviously, I've heard of Northern Illinois. He came into Tuscaloosa and beat the Tide many years ago. But Eastern Illinois, when I saw that on the schedule, I went, is that a misprint? Is really Eastern Illinois? So, yeah, you're right, Barry. Don't plan on watching a minute of it, nor will I watch Auburn and Mercer. That might be a what is the show on this SEC Rewind or something? They
basically it's the SEC Red Zone.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like college football final, but it's on the SEC network. They just do
this
SEC
the one I
game.
Watch on Sunday mornings at the Jag Farm.
So I'll see the highlights from that. Didn't Tony Romo play at Eastern Illinois?
You know who else did? You're right. Correct. Number one, by the way. Tony Romo played at Eastern Illinois. You know who else played at Eastern Illinois? Sean Payton.
Oh, Denver Bronco coach.
Yeah.
Super Bowl winner with the Saints.
And always the New Orleans Saints head coach as well. Okay. They both played at Eastern Illinois University. That's true. Also,
that's awesome.
Feel like
how about Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm told on my VIP River Region Straw text line.
I know who Jimmy Garoppolo is. John, I think Garoppolo is now the backup quarterback for Matthew Stafford with the Rams.
I've heard of that name, but
he's been with the Patriots, with the 49ers, where he was the starter. He's been with the Raiders, I know. He's one of those guys that needs to be on one of those progressive commercials as the backup, like Teddy Bridgewater or Mitch Trubisky or some of those guys. Feel like I've got to mention this as well in honor of of equal time. The Auburn game against Jackson State, there were two stars to the game. One of them was the crowd. I mean, it's Jackson State at 8:00, and that place was rocking at Neville Arena. Ty says, I watched Auburn basketball last night, and a freshman from Huntsville made 5 of 5 from three-point range. Hopefully he can do that against better competition. I don't know he's going to go 5 for 5 from 3 all the time. I don't care what the competition is. Athletes in action. But his name is Simon Walker, white kid. And the difference is that number one is Jackson, a good kid. I think he was a 4-star coming out of Huntsville. His dad played basketball at UCLA. Simon Walker had been injured in preseason. He went 5 for 5 from 3. It is true. You can't take that away from him. But he came in the game when Auburn was up 45.
Oh, yeah.
And he's playing Jackson State. Chances are you can't expect for him to have wide open threes against Florida and Alabama and whomever else, South Carolina.
So is this kind of, wait a minute. It sounds like you're discounting this young man's effort. I mean, is this similar to someone rushing for over 1,200 yards against defenses that don't rate higher than 74?
I'm saying this kid took 5 shots in one game against a SWAC team, up 45.
Make your
That's
own.
one game.
Yeah,
this guy
make your
ran
own analogy on that.
1,200 yards, Cam Petway, in an entire season against everybody on their schedule. And John's like, well, unless they change out their schedule and get the Green Bay Packers on there, that's who they play. I don't discount the kid for one game. Good for him. It was his first action and all that. Awesome. It's a neat story, but better competition. There's going to be some better competition.
Yeah, well, that kid will have that the rest of his life. I went 5 for 5 against Jackson State or Jacksonville State or
Jackson
State. They play?
Yeah,
Jackson
or University State of Jacksonville or somebody.
So that's awesome. Great stuff. All right, listen, this is what we got going on today. A little schedule change. We let you know about it yesterday. Don't freak out. But in about 15 minutes, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, we're going to kick off hour number 2 today with Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider. Well, not exactly.
Not so
Our man
fast,
Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South is going to join us at the top of hour number 2. And then Rodney will join us at the bottom of hour number 2. He was nice enough to make a little adjustment for us today. Always brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf, arriving daily at the Destin Connection, 3750 Norman Bridge Road.
Lots to get to on the program today. Several different things out there. Not all of them just strictly football related. Thursday night football. Will the Phantom go with Buffalo at Houston tonight at 7:15 on Amazon Prime?
I can tell you where he's not going. Back to the Mac.
No.
Done. I am done with the Mac.
Yeah, the Mac ain't going to be back. I'm telling you. So, also, the new word is that there is a move afoot for the New Orleans Saints to start playing a series of games in France.
Well, they kind of have that French thing going.
Yeah. Well, neither of them play defense, at all. France, come on, man. 2 world wars, hit somebody.
We got to get a quarterback before we got to worry about defense.
Yeah, France is
Mac Jones not end up in New Orleans? Can we not make a deal with the 49ers? Get Mac Jones. Mac Jones just tearing it up. And he and Brock Purdy both aren't going to get to play at the same time. Just
could be. I mean, they got Drew Brees in a trade, and look how he worked out,
Yeah.
Well,
France, like one game a year, or what's the deal with that?
They're still working on it, and I'm looking for where I found it. But, yeah, they're going to play a regular season game in Paris. Well, one in the next couple of years. It'll be the first time they played in Brazil, they played in Spain, they played in whatever, of course, England and Mexico and all that.
Do the Frenchies even know what football is? I mean,
yeah.
Huh.
There's a guy named what's his name? They were at the Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club on Tuesday.
Yeah.
The Saints have the rights to France and Monaco.
Huh.
Playing a game in Monaco? Playing a game in Monaco is like playing a game on Court Square in downtown Montgomery. There's not enough room to a football field there.
Yeah.
But that's not really the guy that they had with the Saints talking at the New Orleans Quarterback Club. Everybody in the audience was like, "Shut up. Are we getting Lane Kiffin or not?" I don't want to listen about the Saints in France. Forget that. Are we getting Kiffin? That's what everybody wants.
I don't know if anybody wants him based on PM's article today. Woo, wow. Man.
When we come back, lots to get to. We'll get to brass tacks, as they say. Jason Caldwell in about 15 minutes or so. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. There we go. Hit the wrong button there. All right, 19 minutes past the hour on a Thursday here today. Longshore and McKnight. A little basketball to get the show started, but certainly football still on everyone's mind with, how do I put this? Maybe I saw this. I'm going to start using this term. I saw a headline on the ESPN.com. There, football, NCAA football, talking about the playoff. Texas firmly out, Miami in limbo, and the G5's flavor of the week.
Flavor of the week.
Give the G5 a little bit more love. I mean, that's kind of like, we got to throw them in there.
There's some people like Philip does this. Philip is the only local writer that I know does this. Philip Marshall, AuburnUndercover.com. Stuart Mandel from The Athletic, my gosh, does this. They hate the group of five. Hate them. Zero respect for them.
Come on.
None.
Hey.
The flavor of the week.
That's what it says in the headline.
Oh, give me a break.
Got a picture of the Ole Miss quarterback above it. It's in the closing in on the CFP. It's got a picture of the bracket.
Yeah.
Texas firmly out, Miami in limbo, and the G5's flavor of the week. I guess JMU was the flavor last week. I guess Tulane's the flavor this week.
If you don't care too much about it, if you ignore it as a national media member, that's fine. But to diss it like that is disrespectful, man. That's a good football team. I'm telling you, there are teams out now. The reason why, and we talked about this a bit yesterday, I didn't give any reasons. The reason why Tulane is in right now and James Madison is not, even though JMU has a better overall record. I think Tulane has a couple of wins against the Power Four, and they haven't played anybody in FCS. Yeah. JMU has an FCS win, and I think the only loss they had in the Power Four, the only game they played in the Power Four was NC State or something like that. So, there is that. I get it that Alabama, Eastern Illinois is going to be a cakewalk. I think Auburn, Mercer may not be as much of a cakewalk, but it's a win for Auburn. I get that those games aren't going to be very good. Those are FCS clubs, not group of five clubs. But I'm telling you, just out of hand, I don't know, national media members and Philip saying things like, well, I don't know anything at all about them. They probably stink, but, I don't know. They could be really good.
Could be.
That's the thing about people who say, let's face it, they're not any good. Well, how do you know? Because I've never heard of them. Oh, okay. All right.
Because, they're like a G5 school or something. Anyway.
Michael the Burner Turner, who is he? You ain't got to worry about him. We got that. Northern Illinois comes in, and to use a coach's phrase, they could not stop him. He ran through Alabama like through a tin horn.
I thought that was that team that ran the wishbone before the Auburn game that year.
That wasn't in that game. That was Georgia Southern. Yeah. Georgia Southern ran for like 350 against Alabama, and Chris Stewart was doing the sideline reporting at the time, and he caught Saban at a bad time. And this was the bleep storm.
Yeah.
Next week in the press conference, he was getting loose a little bit, talking about, we played this team one time that ran the option, and they ran for 350 against us, and we could not stop them. They ran through us like bleep through a tin horn.
Never heard that phrase before.
What's a tin horn got to do with anything, and what is that doing in a tin horn in the first place?
Must be a West Virginia slogan or something.
Going through it. Yeah.
I heard a lot of people nationally, even regionally for that matter, complaining about how the college football bracket played out Tuesday night. I look at it, whatever. Kind of like Kalen DeBoer. Yeah, I saw it and didn't think much of it. Came across on my phone.
Yeah.
But the argument was, why is Notre Dame ranked higher or in a higher position on the bracket than Alabama? And my first thought was, because they're Notre Dame. And then it gets into this, who they've played and who they haven't played. And Alabama beat four teams, 4 consecutive games in the top 15 and blah, blah, blah. And obviously Notre Dame doesn't have a impressive win like Alabama's 4 in a row. They lost to A&M in Miami, close.
By 1 point, yes.
But they haven't beaten anybody. Of course, Alabama lost to Florida State, which you can't overlook that. But supposedly, the head of the College Football Playoff Committee, the athletic director at Arkansas, when asked about it, said, well, Alabama's lack of running game really concerned us. Is that one of the data points? Is that a part of it? When they discussed it, well, I'd put Alabama ahead of Notre Dame, but they can't run the ball.
Y'all stay with me on this one, to John's point. Stay with me. Don't flip it off or fall asleep. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee chair, Hunter Yurachek from Arkansas, he says, in response to a question, I will tell you that we probably spent more time in our committee room comparing 2 or 3 teams at that band with Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Alabama. You're asking specifically about Notre Dame and Alabama. That's easier to compare because you have the head-to-head matchups last week with Alabama and Oklahoma. Alabama had that string where they had 4 really strong wins. Then you look at Notre Dame. They've got a win against Southern Cal and a dominating win last week against a Pitt team that was ranked in our top 25. Really, when you break these teams down in the comparison, Notre Dame and Alabama, Notre Dame has lost its... Yeah, it's just rationalization. Notre Dame has 2 losses to 2 teams that are within the top 13. A 3-point loss against Miami to start the season and that 1-point loss versus Texas A&M. Alabama actually had a 2-point loss at home last week against Oklahoma, but they had that loss at the beginning of the season, 31-17 at Florida State, at a team that's now 5-5. That's what the difference is. That's what the difference is. And that's what I talked about briefly yesterday. That Florida State game is all the 5 straight wins or whatever, 4 wins against ranked teams. That's great. That's wonderful. Big accomplishment, but you still lost to Florida State.
Yeah, and I get that.
It'll always come back to that with the committee.
War, but it's like they're not even taking into consideration beating those 4 teams in a row in the top 15. And what's Notre Dame done? Who they beaten? That's kind of my argument there between those.
Wrong. Yeah.
But, if Alabama wins the Iron Bowl, this isn't going to matter. They're going to go ahead of all. Even if it's a 5-5 Auburn, or 5-6, whatever they'll be at that time, I would think they bump up ahead of Notre Dame there. If they go to the SEC championship game and win, they'll be one of the top 4. They can really make a jump there. Tobias asked an interesting question as well. If Alabama does beat Auburn, goes to the championship game and loses as a 3-loss team, and they don't make the playoff, yeah, I think Greg Sankey's going to be very upset about that. But is a 3-loss team going to make the college football playoff?
I think so.
I think it's how they lose, Barry. If A&M beats them 31-14, maybe they're not.
But he ain't getting rid of the conference title game.
No, I don't think, not anytime soon.
No, he ain't getting rid of that.
If they go to a 24-team playoff, we might have to.
Which the SEC supports a 16 team. The Big Ten is wanting the 24 team. My friend Becky, she's a Notre Dame fan. She says, she texts me, that's Hunt's mom. Hunt's my buddy. Yeah. He's watching right now. John sure does sound like a bitter Alabama fan. Go Irish. We can't help it if our history and devotion to God make people like us.
Well, I will say that I do not. This is Becky, you said?
Yeah, Becky.
Okay,
yeah.
Becky. I don't know if you heard closely enough, but as I started this little diatribe, when I said Notre Dame, why is Notre Dame right ahead of Alabama? You got to pick up Longshore Ease because they're Notre Dame. And that right there says it all. They are the best program, the most well-known. Golden Domers got their own TV network. If I just express it that way, I'm encompassing everything about Notre Dame in that one sentence. Because they're Notre Dame.
That encompasses every possible question. John, why the heck should Auburn worry about scheduling Notre Dame? Because they're Notre Dame. Why in the world do you think Notre Dame's going to make the playoff with, whatever it was last year? Because they're Notre Dame, that handles a lot of things.
Yeah, it's the easiest. Why do you remember college football? Because they're Notre Dame.
Why do you remember that Cornelius Bennett hit so well against Steve Berline? Because it was Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You know, if he made that hit against, the northern, if there's a hit made against Eastern Illinois like that, ain't nobody going to remember.
Yeah, Daniel Moore's not making a painting of that game.
Let's take a break.
I can tell you right now. So, Becky, thanks for the question, but hey, come on. As a Notre Dame fan, you should know that.
Yeah. My man
Notre
Hunt's
Dame.
sitting there. He's eating cereal out of a bowl that looks like a satellite dish, watching Longshore and McKnight, kids being raised right.
That's right.
Coming up, Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com joins us. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150s and Lightnings, each $16,000 off, with 2.9% on F-150 or 0% on Lightning. And Super Duties, $12,000 off or 0%.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Broncos and Explorers, each $10,000 off, with 2.9% on Explorer. Plus, Mach-E's at $11,000 off or 0% for 75 months.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light?
I'm here, Bud Light.
Bud Light here?
Bud Light here.
Bud Light here?
Bud Light where?
Bud Light here?
Oh, Bud Light there.
I missed that because of you.
You did not miss that play because of me.
Have to stop talking this way?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun.
Hey, I got you, Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What I miss?
I have no idea.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, we're back at it here, about 28 minutes to the top of the hour on Thursdays. At this time, we always bring in our friend Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. Jason, good morning. Hope you're doing well.
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing really well. Quick thoughts, first of all, Auburn basketball. 8 o'clock last night against Jackson State. Really good crowd. What struck you about that one, Jason?
Yeah, just the ability for this team to score. Obviously, you look at it and playing without your best scorer. That's the thing. You kind of go, look, they haven't really had their entire team together one day probably since June. For one reason or another, Keyshawn Murphy was banged up all summer. Then Emeka Porum was been banged up. Then Keyshawn Murphy's missed a couple of games. And last night was the first time Simon Walker's been on the court since early July probably. And now you're without Keyshawn Hall. Like, they haven't had everything together yet. But I think you look and go, look, this team's going to score. Can they hold their own inside enough physically against the teams that are coming to do those things? But I mean, look, they're going to be competitive. They're going to score. It really feels a lot like Alabama has felt the last 5 or 6 years, probably, to me. In that, look, they're going to score. Can they hold the other person from scoring enough? Do some of those things. But I mean, look, they're going to get tested. I mean, you got Oregon coming up, Michigan, Purdue, Arizona, NC State, all before this thing gets rolling. So they're going to have plenty of opportunities again to see what they're all about. But this kind of took care of business.
They're heading to Vegas. Who are the teams that they'll be facing out there?
Monday. Yes.
Yeah, they got Oregon and then Michigan. So you'll get to see one of the biggest teams in the country in Michigan. Obviously, UAB transfer, Axel Lindenberg's on there. But they got probably 5 guys, 6'9" or bigger, including a 7'2" transfer. So it'll be a difficult challenge. And then obviously you don't know if you were to get to day 3 who that could be. It could be UConn. It could be. I mean, it'll be probably somebody pretty good again. So that'll be next week. So they'll head out, I guess, and then play early next week and around Thanksgiving.
Let's talk about the coaching search before we actually get into the actual football. We're thinking about timing with all of this. The calendar's messed up anyway. We've talked about this before about college football. If John Cohen wants somebody what did he say, by the Iron Bowl?
Right
after the Iron Bowl. Yeah.
Is that if Tulane's playing in the playoff, if some of the other people we're hearing, I mean, how's the timing of that work in the most rational way you can think of?
Yeah, I think rationally, if you're Auburn, you at some point you go, look, you're going to be our coach, then we got to start getting rolling. And I know doesn't sound right, but assistant coaches usually stay and will help out and coach the game and do those things while taking on a new job. Normally when a head coach takes a job, they move on. And so I would not expect anything different depending on who it is, no matter the situation. That's why the Lane Kiffin one has been such an interesting one, because like your whole goal is to make the playoffs, and it probably feels a little different at Tulane because you don't really probably expect that you're going to go win a national championship. If you're Ole Miss, you're going like you're either going to have a home game or a bye or both. Who knows? Whatever it is.
Right.
Like you're going to have a legit chance to be playing probably the middle of, the end of January. I mean, the end of December, 1st of January at Ole Miss. You probably don't feel like you got a great shot at Tulane to go win at Texas Tech if that's where you're starting this thing. But I don't know. I don't know how to work. I've said all along that the signing day process for me doesn't factor in. Like to me, I don't think you have to have a coach before National Signing Day on December 3rd. I just don't think and I hate it for high school kids, but I just don't think that's something that would factor in for me when I'm hiring a coach. And in the end, I don't know that it will anyway. You'll sign a few guys that you'll sign anyway. Will Redmond and your developmental staff and your GM group will still be here. So you still sign kind of some of those same guys you would have anyway. But the most important thing is roster retention and transfer portal. That's the world we live in now. And so I think because of that, if it takes a few extra days, then it takes a few extra days.
I mean, would you think John Cohen would be willing to wait till the middle of December if Tulane wins their last two regular season games, goes to their conference championship game, wins, and then is in the playoff? I guess you're looking at mid-December. And I guess to go along with that, what does that do to DJ Durkin if he wins the Iron Bowl? I mean, I've never been a big proponent of you win one game, you get the job, but it certainly won't hurt.
Yeah, I don't think you wait. I just don't. I think that's one where you go, look, hey, if you're our coach, then sorry, but we got to go on. We got to worry about our program. We can't worry about Tulane or the other program. And you're going to force somebody to have to make that decision. Hey, do you want this job or are you going to wait? Because it's going to be hard for anybody. Because I've been saying this all along. Everybody's kind of saying, well, Florida's going to wait. I don't think you can wait until January the 2nd to have your coach in place. That's the day the portal opens. I don't know that that's feasible to do that. And that's what you'd be looking at potentially with Ole Miss. But I don't know that because I think what days are those games? December 18th, something like that.
It's 18th and 19th.
Yeah. I don't think you wait till December 20th. I think you wait till December 5th if you wanted to. I don't know that you can wait till December 20th. I hope not. I hope not. Yeah. I hope we're not sitting here in a month and waiting on an announcement, because I don't know that Auburn Undercover and anybody else that covers Auburn would survive a month.
I think it'd be interesting that if Auburn does not have a coach by the 10th of December and John Summerall is still at Tulane, that ought to be a pretty good indication. If Florida and LSU have already hired their coaches and Auburn hadn't and Summerall's hadn't moved, but I still think that would be pretty stressful on the fan base.
It would, because then what happens if they win? Because if they win, you're like, hey, then you're 2 games away from playing for a national championship.
Yep.
You're not leaving then, and you're going to then either December 31st or January the 1st. That's where it starts to change to me. Like I said, signing day, man, you love to have somebody in, but it's going to be hard to make a whole lot of moves in 2 days before a signing day anyway. Yeah. But you have to be in place for the portal window for your own roster to get other guys. You got to know what you're looking for in the portal. What to me, your staff needs to be in place by January 2nd. You not only your head coach, you need to have people in position to be able to hit the ground then and figure out what you need as a roster. So yeah, I just don't know that you could wait to mid-December. I think you can wait a few days after early December. But I think it forces you to have to get something done, I believe, because of what Barry mentioned earlier, because of the calendar.
Yeah, which is messed up. Jason, you've been busy on the website, auburnundercover.com. First of all, the preview, the opponent preview, you do that every week against Mercer. We want people obviously to subscribe and to get the subscription information. But my takeaway from that is Auburn fans, I know what the traditional game before the Iron Bowl is and what it's for, and the fact that Mercer is FCS, but don't freak out if they score a few points here and there.
No, and hey, they have 40 sacks now. Now you're playing other FCS teams, but they have 40 sacks on the other side. Like they get after the quarterback. They got a guy that's a true sophomore, 6'2", 250 pass rusher that has like 13 and a half sacks and 18 tackles for losses. And they've done some things, but it's really interesting to look at them offensively. I mean, they have a true freshman quarterback that I went back and looked at his senior year of high school and had like 55 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And he's not small. He's like 6'1", 215 from North Carolina, wound up at Mercer. Probably not the fastest guy. Maybe played at a smaller school, took over the job here, and in 9 games, he's thrown like 33 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and 2 of those interceptions were the first game out against Wofford. He's had a 500-yard passing day and 2 400-yard passing days in the last 4 games they played. They can score. Look, they're built like a group of 5 team. You look at them; they only have 1 offensive line starter under 300 pounds. So normally you think about size differential, and you think about they can play, but they're going to be smaller. Now defensively, they're not nearly as big,
right?
But offensively, I mean, I got a 220-pound running back. This quarterback's not small. They sling it around the yard. The interesting thing for me will be if you're Mercer, what do you do if this game is close? Because look, this in the grand scheme of things, this game doesn't mean anything to you other than it'd be great to win it. But you got playoffs coming up. They're 9-1. They're going to be a high seed in the FCS playoffs. Do you go and risk wearing yourself out and getting a bunch of guys hurt in a game like this with playoffs down the road? That's when you get to a game, I know the competitive streak kicks in and you want to win. I would expect for a while Saturday that this game doesn't look like Ball State. I would guess if Mercer and Ball State played today that Mercer would probably be a 10-point favorite. So I think this is a better team than you probably played early in the season for sure.
Your thoughts about the quarterback rotation Saturday for Auburn?
I don't know what it'll be. I would guess I know we'll see Deuce Knight at some point. Will he start? I would think that would make it easier, I believe, if you had him as part of a script to where hey, here we know exactly what we're going to do. Here's the things you can rep, all those things. To me, it would make it a little bit easier to have him prepared to start the game in that scenario. I do like the fact that he's had a bye week, and now you've had a week to prepare, so you can now tailor what you're doing a little bit more to what he does. That's always the difficult thing, and you kind of look at it in the NFL. People kind of freaked out that I obviously don't pay attention to football about Shedeur Sanders going, well, hey, how do you play a guy that never had first-team reps? Well, third-team quarterbacks don't get first-team reps once the season starts.
Yep. Tell me about it.
It doesn't matter. No level. It doesn't matter. And now you get a chance as Deuce Knight to get those reps leading up to a game. So I would guess we'll see him a good bit and then see what it looks like.
Now, in a week and a half or so, Alabama's loss to Oklahoma adds a little bit more importance to the Iron Bowl, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, for Auburn, it doesn't change things, but obviously it adds a little bit more. I mean, it throws another wrench into it in terms of a pressure situation on the other side, because you got to think that, look, if you're Alabama and you lose that game, that's pretty much it. There's too many two-loss teams probably in this scenario where you probably wouldn't make it as a 3-loss team this year. So it adds a little bit more pressure. And it's interesting, talking with Philip Marshall, we've been talking about it this week some, like how different this is. Like you got 7-1 versus 1-7, and the spread's like 5.
Yeah.
That tells you this league and where college football is right now. Went back and looked at Arkansas. Like, Arkansas is the worst team in this league. They got 6 losses by less than 5 points. Lost to Ole Miss by less than a touchdown. Lost to Texas A&M by 3 points. Lost to Tennessee by 3. They've lost to 2 playoff teams by less than a touchdown, and they haven't won a game. And people are like, well, that's the worst team in the league. It's hard. It's hard to win games in this league because everybody is good enough to beat you if you're not at your top of your game. You don't have to play terrible. If you just don't play good, then it makes it tough to win. And I mean, look, we've seen like that game here normally. It goes down to the wire, and early on, that I would expect to see something similar, next Saturday night.
I don't think the Big Ten's worst team has that many losses by touchdown.
No, it's not. No, it's the same here. And yeah, it's because you look at the Purdue's of the world, some of those teams, but in this league, I mean, look at Kentucky and you go, look, man, Kentucky, Texas had to beat them in overtime. They changed quarterbacks, and all of a sudden you go, look, like that looks like a much different team. Mississippi State was ahead of Texas by 17 points in the fourth quarter and lost that game. Auburn's 1-7. 1-6 in the league, and look, has pushed everybody. They played. Georgia's the largest margin of defeat they've had by 10, and Auburn should have been up 21-0 in the first half. I mean, that's what you look at when you play in this league right now.
I got one more question. It's a divisive question about the rivalry and all that. Who wins tomorrow night between Opelika and Auburn?
That's a tough one.
Jason's handled some difficult questions. This one can be.
What's interesting about this is both of these teams are so much better than they were early in the year. And the first time around, Opelika didn't have a starting quarterback. They're now playing their third quarterback, who was a baseball player, but they line up. Hey, this is old school. They'll get an I formation, run the football. I mean, they're physical. They do a lot of different things. Casey Myers, Auburn starting quarterback, goes out early last week against Daphne, and Rob Pate's son, sophomore, comes in and plays really well for them. They win 40-0 on the road at Daphne. I don't know Casey's status going into tomorrow night. All I know is this game sold out in about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I'm already making plans on where to go park my truck early so I can then get somebody to drop me off before the game sometime. It's going to be crazy scene. Just like Thompson Central Phoenix City. You got 3 of the 4 teams left in 7A from this region, so it's pretty strong.
If they could play that game at Jordan-Hare, how many could they get in there, Jason?
It would be interesting because when Opelika played for a state championship in 2012, that same year they beat Auburn in the 3rd round. They were both 6A then. I would guess there were probably 40,000 to 45,000 people at that championship game. If you played Auburn Opelika for a chance to go to the state championship game in Jordan-Hare, and you put it on a Saturday afternoon, I think you get 30,000, 35,000 people in there.
Wow. I have no doubt. That's doubt. Awesome. And I was around that rivalry for a while. Well, so much stuff going on at auburnundercover.com. Everybody's sitting on edge. You guys are providing all of the information, insight, and opinion. How do people get involved, Jason?
Yeah, like I said, check us out, auburnundercover.com, part of the 24/7 network, 75% off right now. Hey. Still got the Coach's Search stuff going on, so got lots of reasons to come check us out.
Hey, Jason, next week with Thanksgiving, we'll try to hook up with you on Wednesday if that fits your schedule.
Yeah, it should be okay. So, just all right.
Thanks as always for everything, Jason. We do appreciate you. Jason Caldwell, auburnundercover.com, joining us at this time every week. Except for next week. Next week, John and I are taking Thanksgiving off.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Just get ready. Get ready.
We're dressing up in our pilgrim outfit on Thursday. I got to take a break. I got to go let the bug man in here. I hear him ringing the doorbell. So I showed up. I think he was out in the car listening, knowing we were about to go to a break. So I just wait till they go to a break before I ring the doorbell. Yeah. Run down there real quick and let him in.
Hurry up. We'll have him when we come back. It's Longshore and McKnight and the Bugman in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
This is the greatest opportunity for exquisite jewelry from Marguerite's. Marguerite's is filled to the gills with new trendy styles for the holiday season. But to entice sales prior to Black Friday, Marguerite's blowout is on. Every single item at Marguerite's has a crazy, wacko, insane price. Best of all, you can lay away for Christmas at the cuckoo prices. Plus doorbusters, watch batteries, $8, rhodium dipping, $19, 60% off all diamonds. Marguerite's blowout is on now. Every item at Marguerite's is insanely priced. Marguerite's, Vaughn Road.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, about 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, going to join us. I know Rodney Orr usually joins us at that slot, but Rodney nice enough to do it at the bottom of hour number 2. So one of our good friends, Connor O'Gara, been a part of the show many, many times. Always enjoy his work and looking forward to getting his thoughts about, well, the state of college football.
Well, speaking of football, next Wednesday, there is no football. That will be the first time there is no football in 5.5 weeks. For the last month plus, we have had at least one football game, college pro.
Yeah.
Every day. Well, that ends next Wednesday. You got Maction. Sorry, John. Sorry. We have to say that with whisper. Maction. We've got Mac games coming up next Tuesday.
Okay.
And then, of course, on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, you got Navy in Memphis. Friday's the Egg Bowl. Fridays, why don't you have a game on Wednesday? I mean, why not? The Wednesday before Thanksgiving? I know a lot of people are traveling, but still.
You know, I had an idea. People thought I was crazy and, rolled their eyes and whatnot. There used to be an off week for both Auburn and Alabama before the Iron Bowl.
Right.
Many years they didn't play a game like they are this year.
Yep.
And I always thought, well, then why not play that game, the Iron Bowl, on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving?
I remember you saying that. Goodness gracious.
Nothing else is
going on. I thought you had taken too much cold medicine or something.
And then it gives you extra time to prepare for the SEC championship game when it first started back in 92.
Yeah.
And I caught a lot of crud about it. No, can't do that. Blah, blah. So you don't want the extra time to get ready for the championship game? No, just don't need it.
Well, the other school doesn't get it, and that's unfair.
I mean, there's nothing. You have the entire night to yourself. Nobody else is playing.
Gimmick.
Iron Bowl Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Kick the Thanksgiving weekend off. Nah, sucks. Don't do it. It's okay to play the game on Thanksgiving, which they've done. It's okay to play the game on the Friday after Thanksgiving, which they've done. But why not the Wednesday? Nah, not gonna do it. Okay. Earlier today, I don't know if Bob from Pike Road's just trying to pull my leg here. Why does it pull your leg? Why doesn't it pull your arm?
I don't know. Why is your leg and why? I don't even have a chain that John yanks. Is John yanking your chain again? Yeah. What chain? I don't have a chain.
But Bob, I mean, let me go Bob from Prattville here. Really? I mean, it's 7:29. Bob hits us with this on the River Region Straw Chat line.
Okay. Bob says, I was at the Joy. Is this the one? I was at
7:29.
Oh, that was 7:28.
7:29.
John,
right after I ran about Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is not a bigger brand than Alabama. Bama is the premier brand of college football. Bama is the brand of college football. Even Bama fans don't believe that, Bob.
They're a big brand. I'll give you that.
Brand. Plenty
They're well
to be
known.
Proud of, plenty to take pride in. Yeah. They've earned it, worked hard for the status as one of the true blue bloods of college football.
Correct.
But I'm here to tell you, Bob, and you probably know this at least a little bit. Notre Dame fans are all over the country, and they are nuts.
All over the world.
All over the world.
Bama's a big brand, and the TV ratings bear that out. We go over those just about every week.
There are Notre Dame fans who believe that God has ordained Notre Dame for success. Many Catholics.
There are times, Barry, that I think God's kind of helped Notre Dame in games, but I know that's not true, but it did cross my mind. How did that happen?
I know there's some Alabama fans who believe God has ordained them to football success, but Notre Dame fans truly believe it. I mean, you've got people in Chicago and Milwaukee and St. Louis and Boston and all those places who couldn't give two toots about college football except for Notre Dame. If the Irish are playing, you stop everything. Wait a minute. I got to go to what? Notre Dame's playing, but they're playing Navy. I don't care. It's I'm telling you, Bob.
Let me ask you this.
But Notre Dame is a different
This discussion that we had earlier about where Notre Dame fell in the latest bracket compared to Alabama. If that is any other team in America, are they ahead of Alabama?
No, they've gone too far.
I mean, let's just
I was with you.
Instance,
I was hanging in with you. Now you've taken it
team here. Clemson. I'll use Clemson. If Clemson had a season like Notre Dame, lost 2 games close, but ain't played anybody else, are they ahead of Alabama?
No. Okay. All right. Logically speaking, you're correct. You're correct. Much as it pains me, you're not wrong.
Maybe we'll see what Connor thinks about that. Who joins us as we speak? Connor O'Gara, Saturday down south, joining Longshore and McKnight this morning. We always appreciate having Connor on the program with us. Hello, sir. How you doing today, Connor?
Gentlemen, doing really well. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're doing really well personally, Connor. I'm not too sure about the sports fan base around the state of Alabama right now after what happened in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. So add some perspective, add some rationality. What happened to Alabama Saturday night against Oklahoma?
Weaknesses were exposed, and Oklahoma was kind of the perfect team to be able to go into Tuscaloosa and win a game like that. You know, if this game had been 45-42, I think it would have been stunning. I think everybody would have looked on and go, that doesn't make any sense. Why Oklahoma just won a game like that? But you kind of look at what was plaguing Alabama, even amidst a really impressive turnaround, and it was the ground game issues. It was not feeling like they had the overall two-dimensional offense that they were going to need to be able to have to beat elite teams. And against a team that could create some havoc, could be able to get some of those key takeaways, you saw it was an uphill battle, and it was a game that was going to come down to inches. And some of those times probably would have gone Alabama's way. Maybe they would have gone Alabama's way 5 or 6 times out of 10. And that was one of the times out of 10 that it went Oklahoma's way. And you saw it maybe even decided on special teams. Tate Sandell, the great Oklahoma kicker who looks like John Stockton in short shorts, he's out there just booming kicks with his left foot. Meanwhile, Alabama can't even get on the same page to be able to make a kick without, a kicker and holder, going after each other. So this is a team that right now is playing with a very slim margin for error. Probably always bound to lose a game like this. Does Alabama have national championship upside? I think that can be legitimately questioned after seeing these weaknesses play out.
Well, we talked about it all season, Connor. You've seen it. Alabama fans have seen it. They have zero running attack. And
Zero.
you look back over the last 17 years under Nick Saban and all those great running backs that were in Tuscaloosa, I don't see any up there right now.
I'll go back even further. I'll go back 3 years before the Bear Bryant era began at Alabama, because that's the last time they had a rushing attack this bad, which is crazy. I mean, just in terms of rushing yards per game, they have not had a group struggle to produce like that since 3 years before the Bear Bryant era. And, I went back and I looked this up last week because I was writing about it, basically asking the question, can Alabama win a national championship with a ground game that's this ineffective? And no team that has won a national championship since 1936 has had a ground game this ineffective. Alabama was averaging 111 rushing yards per game. Florida State in 1999 averaged 122 per game, and they averaged 3.4 yards per carry as opposed to Alabama's 3.6. So that's like the closest example that you can really find. But, why do we bring that up? Is that just, like Alabama can overcome that? Well, it's because having a good ground game is the ultimate cheat code. And we saw it for 17 years of the Nick Saban era. And so you see these things that are holding this team back. And it's great that, going into that game last week, Ty Simpson had the most passing yards in situations in which his team was leading by 1 to 7 points. Why is that the case? Well, because they can't run the football to close out games. And so did they figure out something with Daniel Hill in the Oklahoma game? Maybe. I think Daniel Hill needs a lot more run. I think they're going to be able to experiment with him down the stretch, but they're desperate right now. And they kind of know they need to find just some sort of identity, much like 2023 Washington that relied all on Dylan Johnson for their ground game with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. They just need to find that. Just find that just to be somewhat mediocre to make teams respect it.
You look, meanwhile, and the score was not necessarily indicative of the tone of the game, but Georgia beats Texas 35-10. Physical, and finally at the very end they were able to break Texas's will. That used to be Alabama, Connor.
It did. And you know what? Kirby Smart, his ability to do that in a game that meant a ton. It just speaks to him being at the top of the sport. And I don't think there's any debate about it at this point. We can get into like this, the Ryan Day and whatnot of like, is Ryan Day going to overtake him this year? But watching what Georgia did that game, in a weird way, even though the final result didn't really reflect it because it's a 25-point win, Georgia's been winning all these one-score games this year. But in a weird way, it's exactly what Georgia's been doing all year. It's finding that little crack in the door, that they could just look at and burst right through and go, nah, this is our time.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that all season. And it's such a rare, unique skill. They did it with the Jackson Arnold, goal line play, which was 100% a touchdown. But Georgia, it's not Georgia's fault that it wasn't ruled a touchdown. Georgia is just tasked with being able to seize that moment. And they seize these moments in such a championship way. And it's really impressive to see. And I wonder how that's going to be able to benefit them come playoff time, because what's going to phase Georgia at this point? Like you could put Ohio State in some of these spots. Like if Ohio State falls behind by 7 points in the fourth quarter, I'll be like, hey, Ohio State hasn't trailed in the fourth quarter since September. All right. Like this is something that we need to really be looking at. And as you're trying to get to the playoff and you're just trying to make sure that you're checking all these boxes, you want to be as healthy as possible, which Georgia all of a sudden isn't now with the loss of CJ Allen. They just kind of kept moving without him. But Georgia's just doing things that Alabama used to do.
Let's talk about Ohio State. Let's talk about Indiana, 1-2 in the rankings, but the nation's saying, well, they haven't played anybody yet. You subscribe to that?
Just a little
there
bit.
You go.
There we go.
There you go.
Full disclosure. I am an Indiana University graduate. I am a very proud IU alum. I cannot consider myself a true IU football fan. IU basketball is a different story, but IU football, like the running joke is that nobody besides freshmen go to those games. Now, Kurt Cignetti has very much changed that. I went to many an IU tailgate, but not football games itself. And it is remarkable though, because Indiana ended the nation's longest home winning streak up in Eugene and did so decisively. I mean, that was a beatdown what they did to Oregon. And it was only a 10-point game because of the pick six that Fernando Mendoza threw. And if you're not impressed with Indiana at this point, I'm like, you're just a hater. You're just kind of a hater. And now I do think it's fair to question what it's going to look like for Ohio State in a way that, 2018 Alabama is the case that I would bring up for this. 2018 Alabama was a team that really was not pushed at all. And you could see that because Tua did not attempt a fourth quarter pass until November, which is just an insane thing to say out loud. And it's so foreign in this day and age in the SEC. It's just not like that anymore. I just brought up like Ty Simpson stat. And Ohio State going into the playoff, it might play some of these down to the wire games. It might play another down to the wire game against Michigan, and it might play a down to the wire game against Indiana, but they haven't been in a lot of those spots. So while I don't think they've been really pushed, like if you're telling me that the best game on Ohio State's schedule happened in August, I'm saying that team has not been pushed. And to Ohio State's credit, it's the most dominant defense in college football, Texas Tech being maybe a very close second, Oklahoma in that race as well. But I do think those two teams, because they've been so heads and shoulders above the rest of the conference and the rest of the competition that they faced, it's going to be fair what it's going to look like, to question what it's going to look like going into the postseason.
Let's just play a role game here. Let's just say you are an advisor or an agent to a stable full of top flight Division I football coaches. What do you advise them about the Auburn job?
I advise them to do your research and try and get as much intel from people behind the scenes as possible. Try and find out who this important person wants, who that important person wants, who Jimmy Rain wants, who all these people want at Auburn, because alignment is everything in this day and age. I think it's a great job. And I've said that for a long time, that it's a very unique job. It's maybe the most unique job in college football outside of, the service academies or like a BYU or something like that. But it is such a desperate fan base at this point to now experience 5 consecutive losing seasons. This is a program that is so desperate for a winner that you can't look in my eyes and tell me that it's a bad job and they just shoo coaches out. When in reality is, if you go 5-7 anywhere in the SEC, you're going to be 2-3 years and out. Like that's just reality. You can't just tell me that's the byproduct of Auburn. So I look at that place and I think to myself, well, you can absolutely win if you have alignment. If you have people behind the scenes that are all rowing in the same direction, that's a place that can recruit elite talent. You can recruit in the transfer portal. You can have one of the premier atmospheres in all of college football. And you could say, let's go. And to me, replacing Hugh Freeze, who replaced Brian Harsin, it's a little bit easier than trying to replace
fairway is wide open. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm going to hit you with one that maybe you hadn't heard, Connor. Is Kalen DeBoer happy in Tuscaloosa?
I think he's happy. And maybe it's not happy from in the same way that he felt happy at Washington. But this job has been so tense and so pressure packed that I don't even know if he's had time to process that himself. And, I saw who was it? It was Big Cat was throwing this around. He had Andy Staples on Pardon My Take. And one of the things that he was asking was like, would Kalen DeBoer walk away after 2 years in Alabama? Like, what? This is Greg Burns, like big time hire. Like they committed so much money. When you sign up to replace Nick Saban at Alabama, you're not like, I'm going to dip my toe in the water and you know what, this just isn't really for me. No, there's no way. And I realize, like, you know, he's got a daughter that's playing softball, and he's got other things going on in his life, and he's you know, looking at this probably from a different viewpoint than a lot who have grown up in the South and who have understood Southeastern Conference football, you know, for the last 50 years. Like, he's not in that type of position. So it doesn't mean he's at his absolute happiest, but is he happy enough to continue to do his job? Is he happy enough to continue to show up to work knowing that he's got one of the premier jobs in college football? I would say yes.
Connor, a buddy of mine gave me some advice about trying to arrive at a consensus on Lane Kiffin. He said it's easy to understand if you understand Lane Kiffin is a 12-year-old.
Right.
What's he thinking? What should he be thinking with all of these potential opportunities waiting for him, and sending, you know, family to Gainesville and family to Baton Rouge? Is there any structure to his thought process right now?
The only thing I know about Lane Kiffin is that he's enjoying right now. He's very clearly enjoying this process, and he can act like, oh, you know, it's daunting to get these questions from the media all the time. He's enjoying being wanted, and who doesn't want to be wanted? You know, who doesn't want to be courted by big time jobs in college football and have the place that they're currently at chanting your name in the midst of a nail biter victory against a team that you probably should have beat by 3 touchdowns. Like, who doesn't want these things? You know, these, you got people that are signing up wanting to write a blank check for you to coach football, when you've seen what it's like when you're standing there in the tarmac wondering if your career is over. He wants to be wanted, and he is wanted. The thing that I keep coming back to is, I don't think Lane knows what he wants yet. I think he's trying to be as present as possible. And I really don't think he has his mind made up. Like, if you told him to write the job down on a piece of paper that he's picked for next year, I think it'd be a blank piece of paper. I really do. And I don't think he's truly decided yet. I think he's unbelievably happy at Ole Miss. I don't think that is just like some creation that he's throwing out there and he just wants to leave on good terms. Like, maybe there's a little bit of that, but I think he's truly happy in Oxford. If I'm betting today, I would still bet on him returning. I don't think he ends up at LSU. I think if he does, and again, this is just a guess because it's what we're all doing. We're just guessing. I do think that based on the conversations I've had with people that know about the Florida situation, that if he leaves Ole Miss, I do believe it will be for Florida. And I do believe those numbers would be shattering any previous era of coach contracts in college football. And not that he'd be leaving for the money, because he said he's never made a decision for money. I don't think he would be, but that would be the alignment that we talk about. And Lane's going to have that alignment wherever he ends up.
I know the athletic director, the administration at Ole Miss has got to be thinking, wait a minute, you're putting your family on planes going to Baton Rouge and to Gainesville. That's a bad look for us. I mean, do they ever have to come to a point, Connor, where they got to say, listen, we got to know where this circus is over, or do they just have to wait it out and just let Lane be Lane?
Or what, you know?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah.
What position does Ole Miss have right now to look at I think what's their best coach in college football history? I'm a believer that we should just be counting post-integration success. And if we're just going based on that metric, then Lane Kiffin is the best coach in the history of Ole Miss football, and not just because he just got 10 wins for the 3rd consecutive season, the first coach ever in Oxford to do that. But I think if you're Ole Miss, you're going, well, he's got all the power and he knows it. And yeah, it might frustrate us, but maybe this is what he has to do. Maybe this is his process. And it would be that much sweeter if he came back to Ole Miss. And if you're Ole Miss at the same time, you always knew that this would be possible. And you could tell me, like, and Lane always likes to say, like, Ole Miss needed, or I needed Ole Miss more than Ole Miss needed me. And I firmly believe that Lane Kiffin feels that way. But when you hire someone that's been to the top of the mountain in college football, you know that there's a possibility that he could one day leave. And if you were betting on the over-under of whatever it was for Lane Kiffin when he took that job at the end of the 2019 season, he's hit the over already by being there for 6 years and doing the things that he's doing, very likely leading this team to a college football playoff berth. So, like, I think I have to have that full context and understand, like, this is his process, and it sucks that it's playing out this way for us, and maybe it's a little bit embarrassing, but you know, it'd be better if Lane picked us.
I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, Steve Sarkisian gives us the "I love Texas, I'm not going anywhere" speech. So how much longer is he in Austin?
Gosh, I wrote about this today for SaturdayDownSouth.com. Shameless plug. Sark has had a weird year, weird year, and also these comments that have come out from him, like even dating back to talking about Arch, like, I don't have a camera on you guys when you're using the bathroom. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
He's just, some of the self-awareness that he's lacked this year. It's weird that this came out now. And apparently this was in response to like Desmond Howard saying that he could leave for Austin. He's 4 weeks removed from Diana Rossini's report for The Athletic that he's entertaining jobs from the NFL, or at least that he'd be interested in jobs from the NFL. It's like, why this is coming out? Is it just coming out after they lost the third game? They think they're out of the college football playoff. I don't know, but Sark is just, for someone who keeps saying over and over everything is fine, it makes me believe that maybe not everything is fine. And if he wasn't coming out and acting this way, the way that he kind of has this year, and just being salty, like if you saw the interaction with Kirk Bowles, where like Kirk Bowles said, like, why did this team underachieve? And he's like, underachieve according to who? It's like, well, you guys were the preseason #1 team in college football. And he's like, he's just like pretending like that's nothing, even though Texas had literally never done that in its history before this year. Sark's just been weird. He's been really strange and really tough to figure out. And it doesn't make me think he has 1 foot out the door, but it makes me think he's getting a little bit insecure. And I thought the Diana Rossini report reflected some of that insecurity, even though he's coming out and trying to deny it as much as possible. And so it's just a reminder that usually these things don't have a clean breakup. And I would still bet on him to be at Texas for the long haul, but it's just been weird. And if he does ever leave, we'll point back to this season as kind of being the first real cracks in the foundation that he's faced.
This happens all the time when we visit with you. You say something, you give an opinion or an insight, and it makes me think of about 2 or 3 questions to ask you about that. Since you're talking about Texas, honestly, can Texas A&M pull this thing off? Why aren't more people giving Mike Elko some credit, Connor?
Mike Elko should be in the National Coach of the Year discussion, and he's probably not going to win it. Curt Cignetti, my unbiased opinion, he's probably got a very good chance to repeat as National Coach of the Year, which like nobody ever does. I was looking that up early in the season. It's basically impossible to repeat as National Coach of the Year, and Curt Cignetti might just do that. Clark Lee, if he leads Vanderbilt to the playoff, is going to be in that conversation as well. But the job that Mike Elko has done is remarkable, man. Like, first 10-0 start for Texas A&M since 1992. The things that he's done with Marcel Reed, and being able to have this guy that just clearly has the support of the program. Like, they're so all in with him after, it's easy to forget he wasn't even the guy coming into last year. Connor Wigman was. And this offense that's just been so perfect for their skill set. We forget that they lost Le'Veon Moss, their all SEC running back, early in the year. That same injury last year derailed their season down the stretch when he got hurt against South Carolina. And so for Mike Elko to not just overcome the 8-4 jokes, but to get Texas A&M to this place, it's incredible. And I think that we're probably a little bit like, you know what? Why? Like, are they really going to be able to do this? Because they've had the benefit of conference schedule luck, much like Indiana did last year. 7 of the bottom 8 teams in the SEC they have faced. Right. And also the fact that they haven't played in a conference championship game in the 21st century. And until you've seen that actually play out, and you've seen a team like that on that stage, it's not just that they haven't been to the college football playoff, it's that they haven't been able to at least play for a conference title. Until we see that play out, there's a little bit of this gatekeeping that's always going to go on in college football.
Yeah. As we wrap up, Connor, I kind of want to just circle back to end things here. We talked about Auburn. Who does Connor O'Gara think Auburn needs to hire as their next head football coach?
I think this is pretty clear. John Summerall's got to be the guy. He's just got to be the guy. And if he's not, and maybe it's good that we're not hearing a whole lot of murmurs about this candidate and that candidate and the other for the Auburn job. But I just look at what he brings to that program, and it's an adult in the room. It's an adult with accountability who is at the peak of his powers right now. It just seems to kind of get it. Like, every time I hear him talk, I'm just kind of like, I think that guy gets it. Hearing him yesterday talk about how, if we're the highest ranked group of 5 team, there's a lot of bad teams out there.
Yeah.
Like,
says
nobody,
we're average.
yeah, he's like, nobody does
I
that.
saw that.
Everybody's trying to say, oh, this is why we deserve to be on the college football playoff. And I can't believe that they would, rank this team over us and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, he's real. He seems very, very real. And there's a reason why so many people have said he's just due for one of these SEC head coaching jobs. The experience that he has in the Southeastern Conference, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss. Like, he's a guy that obviously has ties all over the South. And I just think he would make a lot of sense as a defensive-minded head coach. You could do something that Auburn never does, which is hire somebody on that side of the ball and then hire a premier offensive coordinator who can just truly handle that stuff. And it's not this waffling with play calling duties. I just think John Summerall makes too much sense. And if the search deviates from him, I'll kind of be scratching my head and going, Auburn did it again, didn't they?
All right, so if Tulane wins out, goes to the playoff, does
That
Auburn
makes it
still
awkward.
wait on him?
I would like to think so. That's maybe the only way that this search can go sideways a little bit. And that's something I've been talking about for a while, is like these programs that are trying to hire playoff bound coaches. This is unprecedented. We've never seen this before in the history of college football with the way that this calendar works now with the expanded playoff. And last year, Purdue and West Virginia were not going to be picking from the playoff litter. They just were not, okay? They were not to fill those vacancies. And this year with all these big-time jobs open and everybody wants a playoff-bound coach, and it's going to be really difficult to have to wait because, yeah, you might tell yourself, we're going to wait till the first-round game December 21st, a week before Christmas. What if they win?
Yeah.
And they're not playing again until December 31st or January 1st. And then the portal window opens on January 2nd. So, it gets really, really complicated. So you're right. That is something that I think Auburn would ultimately wait if they felt like they really had him. Can you do an NDA thing? Can you just get everybody involved to just kind of sign agreements and just say, hey, we're not going to talk about this, but you're our guy? Maybe that's going to be a really difficult thing to protect.
It won't go into it won't factor into Auburn's thinking. I wouldn't think, Connor, but John Summerall's the one coach Alabama fans don't want Auburn to hire.
That's usually a good sign. It's like when your opponent is doing the thing that you don't want them to do, like when it's 4th and 2 and you're like, oh, we're not going to be able to stop them. And then they punt and you're like, oh, thank goodness. And it's 4th and 2 and then they go for it. And then you realize, oh boy, we're in trouble. Feed into that, Auburn. That's the type of energy you need for this coaching search.
Well, that's the type of energy we need on this program. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. The website has been one of the true success stories of websites of its kind.
Thank you.
What is it, 2010?
2010. Yeah, it's 15 years. This is our 16th season as a company. It's crazy.
I can't remember what it was like beforehand. People need to get involved with that. Really, really good stuff. Connor, we appreciate you. Thanks.
Gentlemen, appreciate it as always.
Take care. We'll do it again soon. Thank you so much, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Always appreciate his insight and analysis. As you mentioned, Bear, I've been subscribing and reading Saturday Down South for, not 15 years, but probably about half that time. I love it. It is one of my daily reads. You need to get involved with it as well.
Yeah, I've, we've been talking about John Summerall around here. I've known him for years and worked with him for years and everything. And I've been purposefully trying to, stay away. I haven't talked to him in a while now and all that. But all of the things, his read on that, he's just got an edge. Yesterday, he was saying this. Somebody was asking him about, what do you think about being in the top 25? He says, well, I don't know. Are you one of the top? Oh, are you one of the best? Is Tulane one of the best 25 teams in the country? He said, I have no idea. He said, I'm not watching everybody else. I'm watching our team and I'm watching the team we're playing. But if we are one of the 25 best, there's some bad football out there right now.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Who
saw
says
that too.
that anymore in this day?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was Bear Bryant-esque. Oh, we're not any good. We won't win a game this year. We're terrible.
If we're one of the best 25, goodness gracious, there's some. We're average, he said. Yeah, so interesting.
Well, if you've been following the Phantoms Daily Dog, you'd probably say average as well. You know where we're going with this MAC stuff. I'm off them.
Yeah,
but we will have a Daily Dog, and nonetheless for tonight.
Coming up in a moment, it's Longshore and McKnight. Don't forget Rodney Orr coming up as well. It's all in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
One. You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River Region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River Region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Moments away. I guess we can squeeze in the Daily Dog today. Let's just get through this so we don't waste any time.
We can stretch this out. We can extend this if you want. But if you think because of strictly of programming and time needs and all that we need to just zip in and zip out, I guess we can do that for the good of the show.
Well, no, I'll give it the equal time that it deserves, I guess.
Meaning zip in and zip out, yeah.
You know, we've never hidden behind some of our deficiencies. This is a big one. I don't know what it is about the MAC, but if my math is correct, I have released 4 games involving MAC teams, both teams being in the MAC. It's a MAC rivalry or a conference game. 4 of them in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
I've lost all 4 of them.
Oh, no.
I have not won a MAC contest in the last 2 weeks. And it didn't change last night with Kent State hosting Central Michigan. Kent State catching 9 at home.
Ooh.
We were 3 points short of pushing.
Central Michigan 28, Kent State 16. That's 12.
Yeah, I needed 12. No. 9 was my limit.
Well, we may never hear any reference to the Mid-American Conference on this Phantom's Daily Dog segment ever again.
So whatever MAC
Phantom
team
says,
comes to Montgomery for the bowl game, I am rooting against them. Don't care who the team is they're playing. I'm rooting for that team over any team from the MAC.
Yeah, heck with the MAC.
Yeah.
Good thing is if you look things over, the MAC doesn't play tonight.
Yeah, thankfully. But you know who does? The National Football League. I believe this game, Barry, you said it's on Amazon?
Amazon Prime tonight. Should actually be a good one. The Buffalo Bills are playing.
I didn't know this, Barry, but my daughters years ago said, Dad, you got to sign up for this Amazon Prime thing, which basically you order something and it shows up at your door in about 2 hours. Because
you can return it like the easiest thing in the world. You get it.
Because if you got Prime, you're going to get it really, really quick compared to just regular Amazon.
And returns are free. So, send it back. Yeah. Amazon Prime also, who knew? They have a streaming app where you can watch video.
Which is part of my subscription. I didn't know that either. Wow,
My
free
wife and I are
TV.
watching a series called A Place to Call Home. It's Australian. It's on Amazon Prime. Who knew you had that? You also have Thursday Night Football
That's exactly
on
right.
Amazon Prime. Hallelujah.
So
And they've
we'll
had
be
some pretty
checking
good
out
games.
the Bills at the Texans tonight. My question, Barry, what uniform will the Texans show up in tonight? They normally wear a dark navy blue, but I've seen them in all red before.
Yes.
I've seen them in all white before. So it's really, I wish they released that type of information. What uniforms are the teams playing? And I'm sure if, in Houston, they probably know, but I'd like that to be a national story.
I don't love the logo. Number one, on the side of their helmet. Number one, is too big.
Yeah.
It covers the whole helmet. Number two,
I like Tampa Bay's logo. I think that logo's too big.
It's a cow skull,
Ah, yeah.
How intimidating is that?
So I'm not, don't know the uniforms, the text. I hope they go navy blue, but I can't swear to it.
Okay. All right.
So I'm not going to really dwell that much on the uniforms, but Barry, home team on Thursday night. Love it. Texans, pretty good team. I got to tell you, don't let the record fool you.
They're not bad. Yeah.
I like their coach, D'Amico Ryans, who, of course, played at Alabama. And the Bills might win this game tonight, Barry. Most NFL games, a large majority are settled by 3 points or less. I think that could be the case here tonight as well. So I'm grabbing the home team catching 6 points tonight. We like the Houston Texans to cover against the Buffalo Bills. That is the Phantom's daily dog for today.
We also like Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider. He's next on Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, about 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Want to thank our friend Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, who's brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. The freshest seafood arriving daily is at the Destin Connection. Hey, Rodney, thanks for changing up the times with us today. We appreciate that. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing today?
We are doing great. So glad you're with us today.
I never really looked at this as closely as I've looked at it this past week, Rodney, but I never thought that, a team that almost doubles another team in first downs, that runs 24 more plays than that team does and nearly doubles them up in total offense, all of that can be just swamped by one number, and that's 3 turnovers to none. That was it, wasn't it? Alabama loses to Oklahoma, and that was absolutely the reason why. Is that simplistic? Is that too simplistic?
No, I mean, I think you change any one of those plays and the game's different. I mean, you could change the field goal at the end of half, that Alabama bad snap, that missed the kick. That certainly would have changed the game. Or, again, you don't ever know really how it's going to play out. But I mean, Alabama mistakes. John and Barry, I made this kind of observation. I've gotten a lot of backlash, not a lot of backlash, but some backlash for it. Just my observation, though. I thought Alabama defensively played great. I thought they played a fantastic job. Not for the defense. They might have lost worse. Okay. But here's the observation I made. And I think that Oklahoma defensively and on special teams laid the wood to Alabama. When you see the ball knocked loose as many times as that ball was knocked loose, that told me that they brought a mental and physical intensity into that game that Alabama offensively and on special teams didn't have. Because anytime you see the ball getting jarred loose, I mean, that's just a real telltale sign to me. And I thought that's really something that stood out to me. And of course, you had the 3 turnovers, 2 of them were fumbles. When Oklahoma knocked it out on a punt return by Ryan Williams, and then when Ty Simpson hit in the pocket again for the 5th straight game, he turns the ball over. So those things are really were alarming to me.
Rodney, I noticed the same thing, and what stuck in my mind was more physical, more hustle.
Yes, absolutely.
It takes physicality and hustle to make those types of plays, to jar the ball loose, to get opportunities for turnovers. I didn't see that out of Alabama on Saturday. I did see it out of Oklahoma. To me, it was almost like that was part of their game plan. We're going to be more physical. We're going to hustle more. We're going to try to create more turnovers.
They brought an intensity. They brought an intensity from the moment they stepped on the field. Now, again, defensively, I can't complain about Alabama's performance. No, they did not produce any turnovers. I get that. But I thought they played really, really well. But I thought the intensity that Oklahoma brought defensively, and I think if you look at Oklahoma, I think Venables knew, okay, if we're going to win this game, what we have to do is we have to win the turnover margin. Alabama came in plus 10. Oklahoma came in -5. That was a big advantage if you look at the way that things had gone over the course of the season. But I think that Venables came in thinking, okay, we're going to have to win this game on defense. We're not going to put John Mateer in a position where he's going to throw some picks. I thought they just managed the game with Mateer. I don't think he did anything special, but he did not turn the ball over. And I thought that was a real key. On the flip side of that, Alabama, as we talked about, they did turn the ball over. So, again, I think with so much riding on the outcome of that game, I was disappointed. I was disappointed, not defensively, but in those other areas. I was disappointed that Alabama didn't come in with a killer instinct. And again, I know a lot of fans say, oh, they don't want to hear that. They just want to say it was just turnovers. We get the turnovers cleaned up. We're great. But again, the last 3 weeks, there's been a trend here, or the last 3 games: South Carolina, LSU, and now Oklahoma. So, and it does bother me a little bit. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to make observations. When you get into November, you want to start to peak. You don't want to, that's not the time to go in the other direction. So, I mean, we could say that Alabama went through a real gauntlet and it took it out of them and all of that. But, if you're a championship type team, you go through these things and, you get better and better. So, again, a lot still on the table. So I'm not going to say that this team's not going to have a lot of success. I'm just saying, based on where we are today, that was a disappointing loss to Oklahoma.
I think your appraisal of John Mateer, the quarterback for Oklahoma, is dead on. He didn't do anything special, but he just, he managed the game. What is your appraisal of Ty Simpson and the way he played?
You know what? I'm going to go back to what we talked about all along. And I said, I love Ty's skills. I love his tools. We saw them on exhibit for a good part of this season. But I also said this, that how does Ty respond when adversity strikes? And does he hang his head? How does he kind of respond? And I see Ty hanging his shoulders, hanging his head. You can see it. You can read the body language. And I love Ty, but you know what? The truth is that when you're going to play quarterback, your team kind of takes the cues from you. Mm-hmm. And I think when Ty makes a bad play, it takes him a while to get over it. He can't move on to the next play right away. So that's what I would say about Ty. And again, I understand. And listen, John and Barry, you've heard this, I'm sure. Maybe you've discussed it on one of your shows. People say, well, they're just putting too much on Ty. Well, that's what this offense is. It's quarterback centric. That's the way they run their offense. So Michael Penix, they put a lot on Michael Penix. Mm-hmm. You know, the expectation is, okay, if your run game's not there, you got to make these throws. You know, regardless of whatever else is happening, you've got to do what you do. And Ty's fully capable of making these throws, some that he's missed here recently. But if you're going to be a quarterback in Kalen DeBoer's system, you got to be ready to shoulder the load.
You know, Rodney, you bring up South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma. I totally agree. The hustle, the intensity, the physicality, I haven't seen it the last 3 games. We all know what's coming up in about a week and a half. The season explodes. It is over if Alabama goes to Auburn and loses. There's a lot of pressure on this team to win at Jordan-Hare, where it's been extremely difficult to do that. Can they bottle this up and take it over to Auburn, get the physicality, the hustle, the leadership, the intensity that they need? Because let's face it, this Auburn team hadn't been blown out all year. I mean, they
hadn't been blown out for 2 years, really.
Yeah. I mean, their losses are by 7 points or less, except for Georgia scoring late to beat them by 10.
Yeah. No, and Auburn was dominating that game until the call at the goal line. Yeah. You know, they score there, they probably win that game. Well, you know, again, that'll be an interesting game. And I go back to what I said. First of all, it's going to be Kalen DeBoer's first experience down there at Auburn. It's a different place to play, especially when you're Alabama. Everyone knows that has any experience with this game. So I understand that, and it's going to DeBoer. It's a tough environment. And my question, one of the first things that pops in my mind is, how does Ty Simpson respond in that adversity, that situation, that environment? And I understand Ty went to Athens, no tougher place to win. We know that. And he handled it really, really well. But I think Ty had a confidence at that time and a command that he doesn't have right now. So how's Ty going to bounce back in that environment? What if he throws a pick 6? What if something happens that goes against you? That crowd, look, Auburn is hungry for something positive. You guys know that.
Yep.
And that crowd is restless. And they're going to be a buzz that night. So I'm just wondering if you go in there and you struggle a little bit, you know, it's a real battle. How are you going to respond? That's something we'll just have to see.
What is Tighter Insider message board going to be like? Well, how are they going to respond if Auburn wins that game?
You know, John, I said this, that I remember the week after FSU. That was one of the worst weeks I think I recall. And look, I've been through Dubose. I've been through all of it, right?
Wow, that's a bold statement, Rodney.
I've been through Mike Price, the whole thing. But that week, there was so much angst, disappointment. But as I said then, and I'll say it again now, I said then, and you guys remember this, you go beat ULM, you go beat Wisconsin, you go to Georgia and find a way to win against all odds, the narrative changes. And it did. Not that I expected it to. I'm just saying that was what a possibility.
Right.
And it's the same thing now. Okay, you go to Auburn and you win that game and you're going to the SEC championship game. What if you go to the SEC championship game, you play, let's say hypothetically, Texas A&M. Okay, and you win that game, you're SEC champions. The narrative is totally changed again. That's just, so as negative as this conversation on my part has sounded probably to fans, there's also the other side of it. And I just don't know what to expect. I mean, it would not surprise me if Alabama went to Auburn and lost, but it wouldn't surprise me if they found a way to win. They squeaked it out. They go to the SEC championship game. They win that game. And all of a sudden, Oklahoma and all this other conversation is totally forgotten. Not even the committee can keep Alabama out of the playoffs, right? And not even a lack of rushing yards can keep Alabama out of the playoffs. So anyway,
I did want to ask about that. The crescendo is there to give Daniel Hill more touches. That's deserved or not?
I'm in that corner. I'm raising my hand.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would like to see that. I mean, obviously. You know what? The one thing that I was curious about, I don't think they tried to pass to Daniel Hill in this last game. And he's really valuable as a receiver. Mm-hmm. And so as far as more touches, we'll see. More runs. Again, we'll see. But I did like the way they used him in short yardage, by the way. I thought that short yardage with Daniel Hill was almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he took that one of those 1 yard touchdown runs right up the middle, and he carried him 5 yards deep into the end zone.
Yep.
So I like Daniel Hill in those situations. And I'll say another thing too. Go back to that last play when Alabama had 4th and 6. Where's Josh Cuevas?
I was watching it with somebody who said, whatever, I think it's right. Throw it to number 80, because Cuevas was great. He's been great. And he's been kind of like an ATM machine on third down or possession downs. I mean, he's been there. I've been impressed with him.
That just wasn't a good series, Rodney. I mean, Todd takes a big sack. They're behind the sticks. And then that 4th down play, it's like 4th and 6, but he throws it 30 yards to the left and 1 yard across the line of scrimmage at the feet of some guy that's got a defender on top of him.
Yeah, it wasn't that the crazy thing is that has been where Grubb has really flourished in those situations.
Yeah.
4th down, 3rd down calls and all of that. And man, he didn't have one in his pocket for that one, apparently. But Cuevas, I was really thinking that middle of the field's open. Where's Josh Cuevas? So anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah. Rodney Orr, TighterInsider.com. Not so much a lot of interest in the Eastern Illinois game, but the Iron Bowl's coming up. Big win for basketball. You guys are covering it all. How do people sign on?
Right. TighterInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. Gives you all our premium information, but also our all sports forum. A great, lot of discussion there about the game last night with Illinois.
Yep.
Ton of it. And the Auburn, all this stuff coming up, and man, there's so much coaching speculation out there for all the schools. But
hey, if you want to know who Auburn's next coach is, get on the Tighter Insider message board.
Yeah, that's where the story will break. I can pretty much assure you.
I will say this. Maybe I've mentioned it before. I was not at the game in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, but I was watching it with some buddies of mine, and they have the Tighter Insider message board open as the game goes on. So they can read the comments of what people are saying as they're watching. And I thought, wow, that's a fun way to watch it. So I suggest that as well. I enjoyed doing that myself on Saturday, Rodney.
Yeah. I mean, it can be a real experience because there's it goes from one extreme to the next. I mean, in a matter of a play. I'll tell you real quick. I know you guys got to go, but you talk about that. I'll never forget. You remember when Tua took the sack in the national championship game?
Yeah, I do recollect that.
Yeah. Somebody, one of our posters, Bobby Flay, posted on there. He goes, "Just punt," and 8 seconds later, that board erupted like it's never erupted before.
And it has erupted before. Yeah.
That's too good. Hey, Rodney, we appreciate your time. If it works with you next week, we'll try to get you on Wednesday for the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll touch base with you early next week.
Sounds good, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, buddy.
Tighter Insider brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Somebody says, hey, Destin Connection a good idea during the Thanksgiving holidays? Son, Destin Connection is a good idea anytime.
If you got a Thanksgiving group coming over, relatives, friends, whatever, have some great seafood for the Destin Connection. Maybe some boiled shrimp there as an hors d'oeuvre before your big Thanksgiving lunch. Or, if you make that, a lot of people put oysters in their dressing or in their giblet gravy for Thanksgiving. That's awesome too. My mother-in-law makes a little oyster cocktail kind of thing that she cooks in these little cups that we enjoy before Thanksgiving. So let the Destin Connection help you out with all of your seafood needs. 3750 Norman Bridge Road. They hooked me up last week. Man, it got me some triple tail, fried me up some shrimp. It was fantastic. The Destin Connection, the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America.
Still to come, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel next. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The drive into fall event is bigger and better at Stivers. Over 150 new Rams in stock, up to 21 grand off or 0% for 6 years, and heavy-duty Rams, 13 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
The drive into fall event is bigger and better at Stivers. Gladiators, 11 grand off. Wranglers, 12 grand off. Even 3-row Grand Cherokees, 13 grand off or 0% for 5 years.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, here we are back at it, about 9 minutes to the top of the hour. I see the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel in the green room, stretching, loosening up. I think it's ready to go.
Getting oiled up, brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. No idea, none, not a clue what any of these are about. We are working on the fly as we spin it here to close out.
Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Ooh, the purple panel's back. Oh, and the black panel's back too. Wow, look at that. Major deal. Major deal.
Yes. That's what I was trying to think of yesterday. The World Cup, the qualifying is over. I mean, we know who's going to be in the World Cup competition. Curacao was the one I couldn't think of. I knew there was a Caribbean country that qualified for the World Cup. The smallest nation ever. They aced out Iceland for that designation. They've got just about $150,000. 150,000. That's about like Montgomery. And they're going to the World Cup. Curacao, probably most famous, known as the homeland of Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies for the Atlanta Braves. But
Somebody put something on the chat line about the Braves and the Hall of Fame or something. I think I caught that earlier today. I thought, what are we talking about? Braves baseball here in the middle of November.
Anytime,
come on, people.
Good time for that.
Come on. All right, that was a good one. Let's spin away.
That's
more to go.
Yes.
The colors. Man, I love it.
Brother, this is
I've heard that a time
sensitive for a sensitive phrase around here. All right.
Heard this one.
That was me in basket.
Yeah.
Oh, Keon Coleman. Playing tonight. He was a scratch last week.
Yep.
He ain't really the guy. He's a good receiver, but he'll drop a few here and there, and he ain't exactly fighting for the ball.
Come on,
very much. Yeah. So
Buttercup.
Yeah. This is a pivotal moment for Keon Coleman. He can either stop whining and start playing a little harder, or they'll ship him off to the Raiders or something.
Yeah. Ooh.
Raiders always seem to get the problem children, I mean, seriously. I mean, hey, what's Randy Moss going to do? Goes to the Raiders, Bo went to the Raiders.
It'll just never be the same. Playing in Oakland, Snake, Daryl LaMonica, George Blanda.
The stuff. Oh, nice one. That's a
Jim
nice
Otto
right there. Yeah, love that. Fred, by God, Biletnikoff.
Yes.
We could do the rest of the show talking about some of our favorite Raiders. Yeah. Oh, you have the end zone with the guys that have the spike shoulder pads and the black face. That had it going on.
You kidding me? Those people in Vegas, they don't know about all that. All right. 4 more to go. Let's see what we got here. Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85, Shorter, Alabama, open 24/7, 365. You can be a winner too.
Fool's gold. That's what John says about parlays. Fool's gold. Yeah. Drake May, who is all that. I love that kid, along with the head coach, Mike Vrabel. Look, the Patriots are leading the division by a pretty good bit now. I think they've won 8 in a row. Evidently, Cam Newton has a weekly gig on ESPN's First Take. I've seen him before, like when I'm at lunch or whatever, in the middle panel up there with those guys with the with the Ranger hat and the scarf and the glasses and all that kind of stuff. He says, if you keep playing sorry scrubs, then you're going to have this falsetto of a mentality, whatever that is, going into the playoffs, and has one and done written all over it again.
Wait a minute. Is that like rushing for over 1,200 yards against crappy defenses?
Yeah, he says the Patriots, the wins haven't been against anybody. Cam calls it cubic zirconia, middle of the mall. Drake May says, man, I don't even know what show he's on. I think they get paid to make remarks, make certain comments.
But I will say, Cam, I see you working there. I mean, I know we haven't seen eye to eye on a lot of things, but, I'm with you on this one, my man. I hear you.
Drake May says, Drake May says, I think they get paid to make remarks and make certain comments. Are you saying that happens?
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Not here, it doesn't. We say what we want to.
No, exactly.
Hey, Cliff Branch. That's a good one, Chris DeBam. I forgot about Cliff Branch. He was good.
Branch.
All right, 3
more
more to go.
The Raiderist of the Raiders.
Who was the guy that put the stickum all over his hands?
Lester Hayes.
Lester Hayes.
They called him Lester the Molester, and it was supposed to be a compliment.
Fresh start. Fresh start.
This could be
what we got coming up next. It's the yellow panel if you're keeping score at home.
Oh, yeah. Shedeur Sanders. He didn't start last week, but he played the majority of the game, and he was awful. And not only was he awful, but while he was playing the game, somebody ransacked his house for like $150.
Man, that sucks.
Can we be honest here? Of course we can be honest
here.
If we can't be honest anywhere, we can be honest here. Shedeur Sanders ain't the answer.
It isn't. You're making enough money. Hire a security firm to sit at your house while the games are going on.
Again, if his name was Shedeur Quattlebaum, he wouldn't be in the NFL right now.
No, he wouldn't.
It's Shedeur Sanders. They're giving him a chance. He ain't going to make it. He's got no promise.
I got to check the spread on that game.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I almost feel sorry for Cleveland fans. I mean, it's been so long. Man,
almost. I definitely feel sorry.
It's tough.
Let's go back to my buddy Gunner and
how do they do it, man? They got
every week, and they get so
be tough on them. All right, 2 more to go.
Yep.
Let's see what we got here on the Victoryland 777 topic. Will those Kansas colors again?
Always ends up that way.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be our second big deal.
We have deal today. Monty Hall. What do we got? Tell us, Jay Stewart.
Yeah. Carol Merrill. Oh, yeah. Major League Baseball and ESPN. I thought ESPN was dropping them, or Major League Baseball was dropping ESPN because ESPN wasn't promoting them enough.
Yeah.
Get this. I did know about this. Reworked the deal, all out-of-market streaming rights. You can actually watch them. Netflix. I think NBC is going to get like a game of the week. Yeah, Sunday Night Baseball and the wild card. Netflix is going to have Netflix is not really a part of it, but it's the first live sports they've done that I recall. They're going to have 2 games and the home run derby. They're kind of getting their toe.
I don't know what it is about baseball, Barry, but if NBC is carrying early regular season NBA games in prime time, as they did the other night, and they've done it, I think, every Tuesday night, is baseball in that bad a shape that the NBA's got a primetime window on NBC, and here it is, the middle of November?
Well,
NBA season doesn't end until July.
I'm just glad they're back on ESPN. Now maybe ESPN will promote them somewhat instead of treating them like they had the mange or something. It's not good. Let's go back to it. One more.
All right, one more to go. Got to spin it to make it official here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Palace Coup.
What is this going to be?
This is Palace Coup.
Palace Coup. Caesar's Palace closing? What's going on here?
Oh, yeah. This is the Mavericks. Nico Harrison, who infamously traded away Luka Doncic, which was an idiot move. They fired him. Mark Cuban, who, he just basically came down from on high and said, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, get rid of that, da-da-da.
Kind of sounds like an Auburn coaching search.
Wait a minute. We were talking about in the basketball.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah. I got distracted.
So there is that. The Mavericks. I like Mark Cuban. I wish more owners would like it.
Kind of quirky.
The two big time millionaires involved in sports that I really kind of like the cut of their jib, Mark Cuban and Jimmy Rain. Those guys are real guys.
I think Cuban's a little quirky. He's a little too and a little too liberal for me as well. But besides and he was kind of show he did.
Yeah, I like him. Well, also I like Connor O'Gara. I like Jason Caldwell. I like Rodney Orr. All great stuff. Tomorrow on the show, we are taking it on the road.
Yeah, we'll be at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. We invite you to come by and see us at Stivers and get into that ride during the Black Friday sales event, Barry. It's already going on.
That's right.
The Black Friday sales event. We're going to tell you all about that tomorrow out at Stivers. Also, the Phantom, Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports, Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet, and Monday's headlines today. We'll do that tomorrow on the program as well.
Yep, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.